In the vibrant, sun-drenched city of Lagos, where the air hummed with generator sounds and the irresistible aroma of frying plantain, a crisis was brewing. It was not a crisis of politics or traffic, though Lagos had plenty of both. It was a crisis of grains, tomatoes, and national pride. It was, as it so often is in West Africa, about jollof rice. Three friends, Chidi, Amara, and Segun, stood in a modern kitchen that was their weekly sanctuary. Today, however, the atmosphere was tense. A single pot sat on the stove, its contents the subject of intense debate. "It's simple," said Chidi, his voice brimming with the confidence of a man from Nigeria. "The smokiness from the proper fire, the depth of the curry and thyme, the ponmo for that extra bite. Nigerian jollof is the original. The goat. It's not even a discussion." Amara, whose parents were from Ghana, folded her arms. "Chael, please. The discussion is over before it starts. Have you tasted the perfume? The precise blend of ginger and the subtle touch of shito? Ghana jollof is a delicacy, not a bonfire." She said the last word with a playful smirk. Segun, the peacemaker, chuckled. "My people in Senegal invented the dish. Thieboudienne is the ancestor. You are all arguing over grandchildren while forgetting the wise old man." He spoke of the Senegalese version, with a reverence usually reserved for elders. This was their weekly gist, but today it had reached a fever pitch. It was no longer banter, it was a stalemate. Then, Amara had an idea, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Okay, abeg, enough talk. Let's settle this like civilized people, not with shouting, with a summit." And so, the first annual Lagos Jollof Rice Diplomatic Summit was convened. The kitchen was transformed. The center island became the negotiation table. 3 identical sets of ingredients: basmati, rice, tomatoes, peppers, onions, spices, were laid out like territorial maps. They wore ridiculous makeshift sashes: Chidi's red, Niger commander, Amara's Ghana gold, and Segun's Senegal ambassador. The rules were simple. Each diplomat would make their nation's version simultaneously. They could lobby, observe, and perform diplomatic missions, like tasting. A neutral neighbor, Auntie Chioma, would be the final judge. The cooking began with the ceremonial base, the tomato stew. Chidi started his onions in a blaze of oil, his method loud and proud. "You need the odo to sing," he declared, the sizzle filling the room. Amara, meticulous, blanched her tomatoes to peel them for a smoother blend. "Precision, my brother, precision. We are not making engine oil." Segun took a different path entirely, reaching for fish and fermented conch. "You cannot build a house without a foundation. The raw flavor is everything." As the scents began to mingle, Chidi's smoky, spicy haze, Amara's aromatic and sharp perfume, Segun's deep, oceanic umami, the diplomacy commenced. It was a ballet of side eyes and tactical movements. Chidi performed a goodwill gesture, adding a spoonful of his fiery stock to Amara's pot. "Just to give it some life," he insisted. Amara retaliated with a cultural exchange, sprinkling a pinch of her special nutmeg blend over Segun's pot. "For complexity," she said sweetly. Segun, the wise ambassador, simply stirred his pot slowly, allowing his aromas to drift across the kitchen table. An olfactory campaign of quiet superiority. They argued over rice types, long grain versus basmati, the existence of burnt bits, a prized soca in Nigeria, a scandal in Ghana, and the protein inclusion. The kitchen was filled with laughter, passionate proclamations, and phrases like, "You've committed a crime against that tomato," and "That is not jollof, that is jen," just food. Finally, 3 magnificent pots were presented before Auntie Chioma. They were distinct in color. Chidi's a deep, fiery orange, red. Amara's a brighter, reddish hue. Segun's a richer, browner red from the tamarind and fish. The tasting was solemn. Auntie Chioma, a woman who had lived through many actual crises, tasted each with the gravity of a UN official. She chewed slowly. The room held its breath. She put her spoon down. "All of you, come here." They gathered, their competitive bravado suddenly fragile. "Chidi," she said, "your jollof has joy. It is loud and generous, like a Lagos party. It makes you want to dance." She turned to Amara. "Yours has elegance. It is thoughtful and makes your palate pay attention, like a high-life melody." Finally to Segun. "And yours has history. It tells a story of the sea and the earth. It is wisdom in a pot." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Now, taste each other's." Reluctantly, they did. Chidi tasted Amara's, and his eyes widened at the clean, sharp flavor. Amara tried Segun's, and murmured in surprise at the profound depth. Segun sampled Chidi's and broke into a grin at the explosive, spicy kick. Auntie Chioma smiled. "You see, you have been so busy defending your borders, you forgot to open the gates. The truth is not in one pot. The truth is," she gestured to all three, "in the collaboration." Inspired, they did something revolutionary. They took one large, clean pot, layer by layer, they combined them, a base of Segun's flavorful stock and fish, a middle of Amara's perfectly cooked, aromatic rice, and a top layer of Chidi's smoky, spicy tomato mix. They let it steam together one final time, a true melting pot. What emerged was legendary, the Jollof Accord of Lagos. It had the depth of history, the elegance of technique, and the fiery joy of celebration. They ate together, the competition evaporating, replaced by pure, shared delight. The story didn't end there. They filmed the process, the debate, and the final collaborative dish. They posted it online not as a declaration of war, but as a treaty. The caption read, "The Jollof Wars are over. Welcome to the Jollof Federation, #1 pot." It went viral, not just in Nigeria, Ghana, or Senegal, but across the diaspora. Comments flooded in from London, Houston, and Johannesburg. People started hosting their own Jollof summits, sharing hybrid recipes. The friends realized they hadn't just cooked rice. They had cooked up a metaphor, a delicious, hopeful reminder that identity could be both fiercely proud and generously shared, and that sometimes the best way to win an argument was to make a new, bigger pot where everyone could find a taste of home.